contract.
I was gonna say Jadeveon Clowney. He's the other one.
I saw that.
Yeah, he got, and that was crazy too, man.
Are they loading
Going
up
to your Titans, bro.
Dude, you know what? I was thinking on the
Going
way
to
over.
your Titans.
I think I've spent too much negative energy on the Titans, on certain teams. You know what, dude? I'm just not worried about. I'm trying to be more positive and focused on the Steelers and good things. Whatever other teams do, I'm not worried about it until we got to play them.
Okay, all right. Respect. I just figured,
unless I got to make some picks.
Hey, man,
unless you're making me.
You said it was gonna be trash this year. You said they trash this year, bro. That's what you told me. Jadeveon Clowney's here. That shouldn't change anything, man. So I'm excited to see what they do this year. And it was kind of cool, man, with some of the details that came out. Clowney was slated to go to the Saints initially, and then they had the Ravens as well were slated to get him too. They both tried to do.
I didn't see the Ravens.
Yeah, so they both tried to do sign and trade deals, very similar to what you see in the NBA, right?
Yeah,
Essentially, to break it down for people, with the Saints, they were going to do a sign and trade deal with the Browns. So the Browns have more cap space. So the Browns were going to sign Jadeveon Clowney to the $15 million deal, right? The Saints, because they're low on cap space, once the Browns signed him, they would have traded him from the Browns to the Saints. The Saints would have then took on $10 million of that contract because that's what they had available.
Yep.
The Browns would pay the other $5 million, and they would just go that way with it.
They would have got draft picks.
Yeah, they would have got a couple picks. Right?
I don't know what it was.
But the NFL, they ultimately said, "Nah, we're canceling that out," and they did. And the Ravens tried to do a similar thing, and they canceled out. We see it all the time in basketball. You see a guy on draft night, oh, he's drafted by the Timberwolves. All right, but now he's traded over here, sign and trade type deal. It's common practice in other sports, but in NFL, it's not really evolved to that level just yet. We saw Brock Osweiler did it when he left Houston to go to Cleveland. But other than that, we don't really see that happen a lot.
Why'd they nix it then?
I don't know, man.
If it's happened in the past, like you said with Osweiler, I don't know why in this scenario they wouldn't allow it to happen.
Because, I mean, in theory, it makes sense in terms of what they're trying to do. The Browns, because they have the money on paper, they just sign them to the extension. Then when you trade them, now it's between the teams saying, okay, how much of that of the contract do you want to take on? As long as the money's getting paid out and everybody's in compliance from a salary cap standpoint, you're good. But I guess from a purity standpoint, you can make the case that, well, that's kind of cheating the salary cap system if you can get those type of deals with a team where you might just have a relationship with, from a management standpoint, hey, we're cool. You pay them 20 mil. I'm only going to pay that 10 mil of that 20 that you paid them, and then we good to go. I give you 2 draft picks. Sound good? In theory, it kind of fudges it a little bit.
It is a win-win for both sides, though.
It is.
The Browns wouldn't have those draft picks anyway.
Well, this is the thing. It's a win for both of the teams, but from a salary cap standpoint, it is kind of cheating the system because now you're not having to comply in a traditional sense. Traditionally, if you only have $5 million available, you can't get a guy that's getting $15 million.
Where Clowney is still getting his full amount.
Right.
But the team that's getting him doesn't have to pay that full amount.
So in theory, you are cheating the system, man. Like they do it in the NBA, and I mean, the NBA is the NBA. We talk about how, I mean, even from a contract standpoint, it's just different in terms of the guarantees and how it's viewed. But yeah, it's cheating the system, baby. It definitely is, man.
Why did it happen that one time? It was just because it was Osweiler?
I'm not sure because
and this is Clowney.
Because you know what, Osweiler, like, nobody wanted him for a while. Then when they signed the deal, it was like, well, we don't want him with this contract. You take it. It was like, all right, we'll take him, but you give us the draft picks, and I'll pay this much of the contract. You pay that much. Maybe
it's because he was already signed. You know what I mean? He was already signed with the Texans.
Because the Texans, they signed him initially, and then from there, but it was all in the same. Well, you're right, because this would be, he wouldn't even spend a day in Cleveland.
Exactly.
Whereas with Osweiler, he at least spent, I forgot how long he was in Houston, maybe a month tops.
No, didn't he play? He played.
No,
he played.
No.
Yeah, he played.
I thought they signed him beforehand.
Nah, he played in the Patriots AFC Championship game the one time. It might have been a divisional game, but they went up to
Houston. Houston. Osweiler did not lead them to the AFC Championship game.
It might have been divisional. It was up in New England.
Okay, I was about to say, I know he didn't do that.
No, they definitely made the playoffs, but I think the score was like tied 14-14 going into half. There was a little bit of a chance, but then they blew it in the second half, and Patriots won by 2 scores.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I swear he played at least one season, but after that season was when they were like, all right, we're done with him.
Yeah, well then, that's not even a sign and trade. Then that's totally different.
Yeah. But it's along the same philosophy. But from a contract
standpoint, though, the Browns took on some of this contract. The Texans took on the other half of it. Or however they split it up. I'm not really sure the details of it. But ultimately, that's how that whole thing played out. And they were good.
That's at least why it's different. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whereas with Clowney, he would have never even spent the day in Cleveland. It would have just been the paperwork of, all right, you sign him, now you trade him.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it is technically, it's
smart, but
it's not against the rules. It's kind of just like, just fudging it a little bit.
But if the Osweiler case was the only case where something similar happened. It's
Yeah.
not the same because
Right.
we just laid it out there. Osweiler was
Absolutely.
already on the Texans for a year,
Yeah.
and they just didn't want him anymore.
Yeah.